We are back. Just the Thought podcast. Shout out to Andre. He could not be here with us today. Hopefully, we have my friend Tim joining, my other co-host. But I'm excited, man. I've been ready for this guest. She's a UMF alum, so I love to see my people winning. I think this is going to be a great show. But before we start the show, I'm going to tell you guys how my week has been. If you guys do not know, and if you guys have followed the channel, people that are new to the channel, that I am currently living in Spain. Why? I do not know. I love it. The atmosphere is great. The people are awesome, and I'm learning a lot about this culture. But it's been a great week so far. My work starts next week, which I'm not really happy about. I've had a long summer of greatness and just working on myself and just doing everything possible to make me better for tomorrow. So it's been a great week. I've been drinking a lot. Maybe I shouldn't have been. But just getting ready and preparing myself for work next week. I can't complain. It's another day. It's a beautiful day now. And I'm just excited for this guest. So before she explains herself, I'm going to introduce her a little bit before she explains herself. Her
Bestie, I see you. I see you putting in effort to reach your goals. I see you putting in effort to become the best version of yourself. And I'm so freaking proud. Keep going. Your efforts are going to pay off in the long run. I love you so much. I'm your relatable best friend, Kaylon, who's just here to keep cheering you on.
Has been very consistent with YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you name it, she's got it and she's consistent with it. And I'm just excited to hear about her videos, about what she does, why social media, why vlogging, all these things. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Hello. My name is Kaylon. I go by multiple names on the interwebs, so we will have that all linked somewhere for you, so you can hit me up. First of all, I love to see that UMF, our Beavers, are coming together on the internet. Okay. It's so awesome to see because the internet can be a non-traditional form of employment, and people sometimes look at you a little wonky when you're like, yeah, I have a YouTube channel. Yeah, I have an Instagram. I'm going to be making money and spreading positivity throughout the world. Yeah. And they like look at you a little cockeyed. They're like, You're like, just trust me, babe. You'll see it come together. You'll see it come together.
Nice.
And we met in school, and then after school in Farmington, Maine, I moved to Indiana to pursue more education, and I'm stuck here in Indianapolis. It's really trapped me in, but we're having a good time. I'm not in Spain, kind of wish I was. I was like, we took totally different routes after graduation.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's
so
when you
crazy.
Look back at it, when you look back at that experience, UMF. Yeah. What was some of the best times you had, and what was some of the worst times you had?
In Farmington specifically, or throughout the past 6 years?
And all right, so throughout the past 6 years.
Okay, best time, and it's gonna sound so stereotypical. I loved being in college. I loved it. Just having that community there all of the time, where you could walk down like 2 doors and there's like your friend, and then you can go see another human. Because right now, all of my friends are back on the East Coast. And so if I want to talk with them, I'm like grabbing my phone. I'm like, how are you? And like, we only get to see each other if we have the opportunity to travel. And thankfully, I was able to go see my girls in June, and it filled my cup. It was something
refreshing. It was refreshing. Yeah.
I saw my mom too, but I got to see my girl.
Yeah, my mom is cool, but whatever. Let me see my friend.
Girl, don't worry.
Nice. Farmington was a great experience. But for me, I come from a bigger city, so like when I came to Farmington, okay, you have one McDonald's, you have a Burger King, you have a Walmart.
Don't
You
forget
have a Walmart. Walmart was lit. Walmart was lit. If you had nothing to do and you just wanted to do shit, you go to Walmart. Yeah. People don't know about that. Like Walmart saved us, you know? So when I first got there, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a little interesting, you know.
Yes.
See a lot of deers, a lot of different animals that are not normal where I come from.
Yes.
But it was a great experience, minus the snow. The snow was horrible.
Oh yeah. We don't like that.
Yeah, no.
That's the only thing that I really appreciate about Indiana in general is there's like no snow here. I don't have
But
to
the
own
wind,
snow
though.
here. Yeah. I was like, it's a hit or miss, but I'm gonna take the win for there's no snow.
Yeah. But it was a great time. Like, yeah, we obviously went our different route. Some people stayed, some people left, some people are pursuing different careers.
Yeah.
But like for me, it was such a great experience because it was so different from what I'm used to. And I met a lot of cool people, a lot of really down-to-earth people. I did not know that before coming to Maine. I thought it was just going to be boring. I'm not going to last a year or so. But when you get there, there's so many people that are welcoming, so many people that are like, they treat you like family.
Yes.
And I love that experience so much. Yes, there was times where we got a little fucked up, a little too drunk.
Easy to do in a small town in rural Maine. Easy. Like that's your weekend thing.
Yeah, but if somebody would ask me like, "Yo, would you go to a college? Would you go to a different college if you could do it again?" No, I don't regret. I don't regret it. I've met some really important people, and I think without them, my life would have changed. So I'm excited and I'm happy that I had that experience that I had.
When I saw my friends back home when I went in June, we were honestly like, we sat together, we had a sleepover. It was a slumber party. It was great. And we all reminisced on our time in Farmington. We literally, we sat together and we were like, should we go out to the bar or should we kick it in your apartment and do shenanigans? And we kicked it in our apartment. And literally we're just sitting there the entire time, just going in circles about things that we did and things we probably shouldn't have been doing in Farmington.
I know you remember. I know you remember because everybody did it. But you remember Margarita night?
Do I remember Marg night? Yes, I remember Marg night.
Oh my God, like
the roost is so grungy, but I want to go back. I want to go back for one night.
I remember one time I watched the bartender pouring the margaritas. And this is when I was like, okay, I should stop drinking. So she basically took the whole vodka, put a little bit of juice.
A little, yeah.
And that's it.
They overpour for sure.
They overpour. Like, I don't know. When I was there, it was dirt cheap. Too. Yeah, it was a problem. Yeah. But it's good times. It's good times. Good memories.
I'm not mad at it. I had a grand time.
All right, so let me ask you something. All right, we're gonna talk a little bit about vlogging because you've been vlogging for a long time now. Why did you start vlogging? What made you? What inspired you to vlog and record yourself and put it out to the world?
So funny thing is I didn't actually start vlogging as like the first form of content putting out on social media. I started out with just sit down videos because for those of you who haven't really spent time on social media or created content for social media, talking into a camera is wild because no one's there, but you're trying to hold a conversation. And so everyone's like, you'll get used to it over time. You will for sure. But I was like, I'm going to keep it really relaxed, stay in my comfort zone and sit in a room and be like, hello, camera and viewers. How are we? So I started just educational sit down videos. And then from there, my best friend Nikki, I keep bringing her up. She's my girl. She started her channel a while, like I feel like 6 months maybe after I started mine. And she was like, I'm vlogging. And I'm like, so what is this like? Tell me about it. Because at that time, all of my videos were scripted. Like it was very like, I knew what I was gonna say. And she was like, baby, let me tell you. And so she inspired me to attempt to vlog. And the first ones were choppy. Because I'm a very systematic person. And I'm like, I need to do this, 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 and this. And vlogging, you have a lot of freedom. And so I was trying to take in like my scripted videos and like the things I did for that and put it into a vlog. And it was hard. But after I got used to it, vlogging's fun. It's fun. It's really funny when you bring your camera out in public and people are like, what is she doing?
What the fuck is she on? Oh, okay. So
I kind of just fell in love with it and just in entertaining myself, because that's like a really big thing about my channel, excuse me, is that I started because I needed to find new outlets for creativity. And this was a really good way to do so, just bringing my camera around and taking different shots and talking to the camera and then piecing it together into a video.
Yeah, right. So, okay, so when you started, right?
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to record that first video and put it out? Because listen, I'm not so used to it as you are. Yeah. I'm still getting used to it. And for me, it was my voice. Like, damn, I really sound that bad? Like, yo, for real, I was like, yo, I sound horrible. Like, let me do it again. Let me do it again. And I remember putting out my first video. I was like, okay, because you get that anxiety too. Are they going to understand what the fuck am I saying?
Yes.
Do I need to put captions? Do I make it more creative? How was that process for you when you put that first video out there? Were you nervous or were you like, fuck it?
So in all honesty, I started my channel about 2 years ago, but that wasn't like my first process and like attempt at YouTube. I actually started attempting to film videos in Farmington. And
really?
Yes. So it's always been a lifelong goal of mine to have a channel and to create a community. And I wanted to do that in Farmington. And I attempted to do like some type of makeup videos because like the makeup community was really heavy at that time when we were in school. So like the 2014 to 18 time frame, the makeup community, they were popping. And so I was like, I can do this. I like makeup. I can talk to a camera. And I pussed out for sure. And then I moved to Indiana. And then in 2019, I try again. And I don't do it because I psych myself out because I don't have good equipment. And then everyone's like, start with what you have, start with what you have. But like, I didn't have a lot. And so I ended up canning that. And then I just took the plunge after graduation in 2020. So I went to Indiana University, Bloomington, and I got my master's in public health. And
okay, congrats. Okay. All right, look at you. Okay. Good shit.
We ended up moving into Indianapolis after I graduated, and we have to think 2020 is when the Panini Press happened and the world shut down. And so it was really hard for me to use my degree. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I'm going to attempt to use my degree in public health, community health, and we're gonna put things on the internet because I can't go places right now. And I only had a remote position, which bless that position, it funded me through this. So I was like, okay, I can't go anywhere. I want to use my degree in the form of how I want to use it, not how I'm using it currently. And I want to build a community. And I need to get out of the student mentality because I was in school for a very long time, especially higher education. I had 7 years of higher education. And so I'm so programmed to go to class, do my homework, go to work, repeat. But now I had all of this free time. And I'm like, what do? I have this degree. I'm only doing this job. Let's just mash it together. And so I finally took the plunge in 2020 with, I think it was 2020, whatever it was, a few years ago. And I finally took the plunge to take videos and put them online. And I still have my first video that I haven't used. I didn't use it at all on my phone. It's rough. I'm looking at like baby Kaylons and I'm like, you're gonna get it. I promise you. You got this. So long to put something out, because I overanalyze things. Like you said, are they gonna get where I'm coming from? Do they know what I'm saying right now? Do my sentences make sense? So I started off saying, if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense to you. That was like a big saying for me, because I'm just like, please tell me if you don't get me, because I want you to get me.
I totally understand. So do you use that first? Yeah, it is. It is. So do you use that first video you have on your phone as like motivation?
Yeah. I look back at it and I'm like, she was trying. And like, that's such an interesting thing for me to see, is like the progress. Like everyone says your first video is going to be cringy. I don't think my first video is cringy. I put a lot of hard work into that video and I'm proud of it, and I will be proud of it to this day. And that's your starting point. And I'm just like, wow, people watched that. You took time out of your day to watch little old me. Love it. And I think it's the energy.
I think it's the energy. It's the energy you put. It's the energy you put in your videos. Like with you specifically. Like when I watch your videos, it's the energy. It's the editing you do as well. It's because nobody's gonna want to watch a video when you're like, yeah. So my day was pretty much did that. No, nobody's gonna watch that.
No,
people are gonna watch you yelling, moving around, and you do that. And you do that so well. You do that really well.
I'm a big believer that the energy you give is the energy you get. Like
you receive,
what you receive is what you put out there. And so, and like, I know some people are like, well, matching energy is weird. Well, that's not for you. That's okay. But I know if I put good energy out there, I'm going to get it back.
You're going to get it back.
I'm so confident of that. And people look at me a little weird. I'm like, trust me. You will.
Trust me. It's going to work.
Try it
Shut
out.
the fuck up. It's going to work. So, all right. So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because I'm still new to it and I'm learning. How do you edit your videos like that? Because one thing I like about your beginning of the video is that it factor comes out to you like, oh, I want to watch more. How long does it take for you to edit each video?
Okay. So editing has gotten easier over time, just because it's something you just get into the flow of. I personally, like when it comes to programming, I use Premiere Pro. And this is going to sound like cheating, but I use my partner because they're a graphic designer. And so they know all different types, and they're incredible at their job. And so I'm like, so can you help me? And so in the beginning, I truly relied on them. As of now, if I have like really burning questions that I can't figure out on my own, it's all me. But in the beginning, I'm gonna be honest with you, it wasn't just little old me. I had people in my corner helping me out.
Nothing's wrong with that. That's good.
Using your resources, use what you got.
Yeah, you better use it. Yeah.
But so something that I really focused on is that you need to grasp people's attention. You need to be able to like reel them in, because if they don't really get what they want out of the first 45 seconds to a minute of your video, they're going to say goodbye. And you're like, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
So that's something I really tried to focus on. And then in the beginning, it was harder for me to like really shine through with my personality. That's something that's come over time. But like now I'm just like, hello, you're gonna be here. This is what we're chatting about today. If you don't like being here, stay here anyways.
Okay. All right. So when you vlog, because obviously when you're vlogging about yourself.
Yes.
Now, did you ever think of a time where you put out a video and you're like, oh shit, I said too much? Has that ever happened to you?
I feel like probably, yes. So my big thing now, at least, when creating content is I want to be able to relate to somebody. Because my whole goal at the end of the day is to be able to be a relatable human who you can also receive some advice to, like I want to be your relatable best friend. Like if you want to come up to me and be like, hey, Kaylon, I have a question, don't know how to go about this. I want to be that person you trust. And so I'm trying to be as relatable as possible, but not overshare, because you can go a few ways when creating content. You can provide every single detail about your life, or you can hold back. And in the beginning, I really wanted to really share everything in my life. But then I realized that taking a camera out in like precious moments is kind of like a mood killer. And that's just from my life personally. And my partner will be like, oh, we're gonna go do this activity today. Do you want to like vlog? And I'm like, no, I just want this to be us. Versus I want it to be my whole community. And so I'm trying to be more mindful about that aspect specifically with not oversharing, because it's good to have just like intimate moments with your people. But I feel like, so in the beginning, like I said, I did a lot of sit down videos, and I am a person who loves everything health and wellness, specifically sexual health. That's my jam. It's just something I love talking about.
I have a video that we're going to talk about later. I have one.
I feel like if you don't know me, you might view me talking about those subjects as oversharing, just because I'm just so passionate about educating people on a taboo subject. But my dog's whining in the background, if you can hear that.
Oh, no. Don't worry. No, it is a taboo. It is a taboo subject. Okay, so have you ever put out a video, or are there any videos that you're like, okay, I could have did better. This is not good. Do you have any bad videos on your channel that you do not like?
Do I have any bad videos? I feel like all of my videos could be improved, especially my newer videos. Or no, excuse me, take that back. I think that all of my videos could have some improvement because I'm growing every single video. I think that my older videos, probably I could have been more concise and not have them be as long. But do I have one short that I feel like my message didn't come across in the way I wanted it to come across. And I had to turn off my comments for it because people were coming at me thinking that I was like an awful human being.
You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready.
And so it was a video, and I used like an audio. And the video was basically saying that if you have intrusive thoughts coming into your head, we have the option as humans to give into them or to not give into them. And I understand that this is not something that is applied to everybody, because mental health and mental health awareness is so big, and I want everybody to be in a great mental state. And so individuals thought I was coming at people with mental health ailments, and I'm like, no, I wasn't. I'm just saying that, like, if you have a bad thought come into your head, you should acknowledge it. Be like, okay, why am I thinking about this? And if you have that option, let it go. Don't let it intrude your day. And so I guess that would be a video that I'm least proud of because I wasn't able to get my message across. But it was also one of my first ever shorts I did. And like, this is a learning game for everybody.
Of course.
I'm never going to please everybody. And I need to like understand that. Like, I'm going to please some people and I'm going to piss other people off. And I hate that I piss people off, but I'm going to.
It happens. That's not your problem. That's not your problem.
Like, they got to work on that, not me.
Exactly. So, what is the best comment and the worst comment you ever received on your video?
The best. I got a comment the other day, and I was talking about how slow progress is still progress, because people don't People don't really see that because we're so used to instant gratification.
Yes,
I'm just like,
very
slow
true.
progress is still progress, baby girl, and you need to celebrate that. And somebody was like, wow, you're gonna make it. You're gonna catch on. And I'm just like, oh, I know I'm gonna make it. This is going to be my full-time career, and you all are going to love me eventually. Once I get my community, I know I'm gonna make it. But hearing that validation from somebody else, oh, and like this wasn't even like a subscriber yet. They had just like commented and then subscribed. And I'm like, oh, this is so nice to me.
That's nice. This is up. And what about the worst?
So nice. The worst. Okay. If you're new to my channel, which most of you probably will be, I have a lot of content. Floating from different subjects. And so I recently went to a protest in Indianapolis when Roe v. Wade was overturned. And I was interviewing the individuals who went to this pro-choice rally. And it was a beautiful event, so moving. And somebody commented on my video that they were like, oh, you're not giving a good depiction of the pro-life humans. And they were like really going to town on me just because I did one video of pro-life humans. And they were really trying to tear me up in the comments. And I'm like, wow, you're upset. I acknowledge you're upset. I didn't respond though, because I could have been mean. And I didn't want to be mean because I was trying to use my better judgment. And I'm not trying to have somebody 10 years down the road and be like, oh my gosh, Kaylon just said this crazy thing in 2020. And no, you're not going to catch me slipping, baby. No.
I feel you.
I've had people tear me up in comments before, but then I've also had nice humans. And so the nice humans outweigh the not so nice humans.
Yeah, that's true. But why do we, because every video I watch, even if it's your video or a video, why do we tend to always look for the comments? Why do you think that's a thing?
I want to see what people are saying. I'm really fascinated by humans' brains and why they choose to do things, because I personally am never going to go onto a video or a post and type something awful in. That always boggles I'm just like, what made you do this today, sir? Like, why do you think that you have this place to try to tear me down? Because these people are just hiding behind their screens. You know, they would never come up to you in person. And so I'm always very just interested to see what people say. But when I go on to like the individuals I am subscribed to, if they have like a really compelling title, sometimes I'm just a little nosy and I'll go into the comments to get a snapshot before I watch them. Which is bad. So, or what else? I like to see other people building other people up. And so it's like, I'm like kind of like trying to get a little sneak peek. I'm like, so what's this video actually about? Like, did they actually break up or are they trolling me right now? Or I like to see when people are just positive, or like if I have a question about a video, like this is like specifically on like Instagram, if it's like too quick and I have a question or I'm not understanding, you go to the comments, there's always going to be somebody who explains it a little better for you. So I use it as like an educational thing, but also to give myself a preview.
At least you're being honest. Fuck it, you're being honest. Okay, so when it comes to putting your content on social media, what is your favorite all right, YouTube obviously is, but what is another platform that you love to use?
I really like Instagram, but the thing is, so it's kind of like a half and half question. It's like, I love Instagram specifically because I post skate content on Instagram. And that's just like a really cool community to be a part of. And like seeing people and their progression and like the cool tricks that they can do. I want to post my videos to my regular Instagram, But I also want to be mindful that if like you're subscribed to my Instagram, that you're getting different content if you were subscribed to my YouTube. And so I know I'm still new, that I could just transfer it over. Don't get me wrong. But I also want to be mindful that like people like to be entertained, and that's why they have you subscribed on like or followed on multiple different platforms. They want to see different aspects of your life. And at that point, at this point in my creator life, I don't have the time to make so much content without it taking away from like me just living my life, if that makes sense.
Got you. No, I got you.
Instagram. So I personally do not have TikTok because I have a very addictive personality where I'll doom scroll. And people do it. I have to be mindful of my time on Instagram, where I'll just delete the app from my phone. I physically will delete it, and then I will have to log back in if I want to post something.
Right. Yeah. I totally understand you, because in the beginning of the summer, I was like, okay, Ray, only use social media to support people or to put your content up. Do not go on it looking for bullshit like memes or don't go on it for that. All right. So I was I was doing really well. I did 2 weeks. 2 weeks, not too bad. 2 weeks is not that bad.
I got 14 days of goodness in there.
So I deleted my Instagram. Yeah. And it was going well. I would say the first couple of days were horrible, because I was always thinking, no, somebody's DMing me, somebody's putting something up, I need to watch it. But then the last like couple of days, I was like, I don't really need it. So I had to tell myself, okay, no, you do, because you need to do stuff for your podcast, you need to do stuff in general, you need to support people, so you need it. But the last couple of days, I felt like I can live without it. Yeah. You know? With TikTok, okay, TikTok's another addiction, okay?
Yes, it is.
Because I'm addicted to TikTok right now in this moment. And I cannot lie to you. Before bed, I scroll through. When I wake up, I scroll through. TikTok is really interesting. The only thing with TikTok that I do not like is us as millennials or younger generation. We have a short attention span. A very short, and it's pretty bad. Yeah. So when I put things on TikTok, or I put like funny videos or maybe something from a podcast or something like that, I know that when I put that video, I have to be creative. I have to put captions. I have to put so many things in this one little 1 minute clip to make people understand it. And I think that's the problem for me right now, is when I'm on TikTok, I'm trying to do these things. And right now I'm just learning. But TikTok is very addicting. It's more addicting than Instagram for me. But do you think but do you think in the future you'll make a TikTok for your podcast, for your YouTubing?
I think it would be beneficial. I think it would be beneficial for the growth of my channel. I would need to be very mindful of my content consumption for sure, because and I always joke around with people, and I'm like, I'm too late to the TikTok game, because everybody's had it since the get-go. So their algorithm knows them. And I'm like, that's too much work for me to do right now. I'm like, I don't want to be like, I don't like this. I like this. I don't like this. Don't show me. That's a lot of work right now, where all of my other platforms, they know what I like.
Yeah.
So I probably should create a TikTok. Yes, I think I attempted to create a TikTok when I was really honing in on sexual health education on my channel. And I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to go to TikTok. It's going to be good. And then I put in my bio that I was a sex positive human or something along that lines. Like, I had the word sex in it, and they wouldn't let me make an account.
There's specific words that you cannot use on TikTok. Yeah, that's true.
And I'm just like, well, I took that as a sign. I was like, maybe this is like, I shouldn't do TikToks. I won't do the TikToks. Right. Maybe down the line I should.
You should. You You have the personality for it. You do. You have the personality for TikTok.
And like TikTok can be super beneficial because it just pushes your content to anybody. And I'm just like, oh, that's cool. But then I hear so many people they're like, TikTok took my account down and I have to do, I'm just like, whoa. So one day I'll take the plunge. One day I will.
You're going to have to.
I will.
Come and join the team. Join the team. Join the team. Join the team. So I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Now we're going to talk about videos because I really want to get into these videos. All right. So the first video that came to mind was when you got fired. Explain that video and why do you thought this was the best thing for you, and why did you decide to become a full-time YouTuber?
Okay, so I apologize. Okay, so my dog's upstairs like, Mom, why can't I be here? But okay. So after graduation in 2020 of May, I was very fortunate to snag a public health role. And it was a contract position through the state of Indiana, where I was able to work as a COVID-19 investigation specialist. So that means like I was the girl you called if you think you have COVID, if you think you're a close contact, if you need other resources. And it was my job, specifically in like the beginning of my time there, to just do interviews and gather data, because COVID is so new to us. And so like as a public health professional, they're like, we want you, we need you to do your thing. And it was very systematic. So it wasn't like everything was scripted. So I couldn't just kind of go like off the cuff. Like I had some individuals who we just had like a conversation with, but like most of the time it's real scripted, because they're like, we need the facts. And I was like, cool, fine. And so I worked that job, and I was able to do different positions within the job. And I worked that job until the contract came to end. And was it clickbait when I said I was fired? For sure. Because we knew that the job was ending. Mm-hmm. Yes. But then I decided, cool, I'm not going to continue this work. Because it's very draining. It's very draining.
Yeah, I can imagine. During COVID, I can imagine.
I had some conversations that were 2+ hours long of me on the phone. And they're hard. Like there's a lot of hard conversations you have to have with people, and you'll have the people who believe that COVID is a thing, and then you'll have the people who are like skeptical, and you'll have the people that hang up on you, and like you'll have the people that will like verbally assault you, and all of these different things. And so I was like, okay, my contract's ending. I need a break. And maybe you can relate to this, but as students, we are so conditioned to go to school for this amount of months, and then what do we have after? Summer break. Yeah. And so I was like, this is going to be my summer break. More than a summer, but this is going to be my summer break, where I was super smart with my money. And honestly, everybody needs to be financially secure. And so do not do things that will make you unstable with your finances. But I had the money saved, where I took just 6 months off. Took it off of the world. And I was like, I know that I'm going to be successful on YouTube. It's one of those things, I just feel it in my core. I'm just like, this is like, there's no question about it. So I'm just like, I'm going to dedicate this amount of time just to having fun and creating content and challenging myself. And so I put it out there. I was like, I was fired. Technically, I knew my contract was ending. I took it as I threw myself a retirement party. Like I was dead serious, and everyone's like,
I saw the video. I saw the video.
I threw myself a retirement party. You want to know why? Because I deserve to celebrate.
Why not?
I took that time just to have fun and create more content. And here we are today.
No, I saw the video of retiring, by the way. It was hilarious. But why do you think so many people, because I'm pretty sure you have friends that are working a meaningless job, and they have so much creativity, but they don't know how to put it out. Why do you think so many people have problems with taking that next step and finding what they actually want to do?
I think our inner critic like comes in. I think as humans, we judge ourselves a lot, and we don't allow ourselves to get out of that mindset and like push ourselves. And don't get me wrong, I was in that boat too. Like I put off my channel for so long, because I'm just like, I can't do this. It won't be worth it. And people get comfortable. And like I'm not judging that, because I've been comfortable in positions. You get comfortable with the money, you get comfortable with your routine, but you always have that little bit of like longing for something extra. It's like there's like how I say it is like I felt like something was missing. And like that missingness, I was like, okay, I need to dive deep into that. What is missing? Why do I feel unfulfilled? And then personally, I took action there. But I think our inner critic really stops us from taking that next step, because it's a really big mental thing. Like we can do, we have limitless potential, but we stop ourselves. And I'll tell people this. I'm like, your potential is limitless. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, oh, it's because your noodle's working against you.
It's the brain.
It's your brain. And if you would have asked me this question like before I started my channel, I probably would have given you like a weird runaround answer as to why I'm not chasing my goals. I really would have. But now I'm just like, we limit ourselves.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm just getting used to being myself now. Like within the last like 6 months of taking time off of work and just doing YouTube full time, I've really taken the time to be like, girl, why are you dulling your light? Like, why aren't you letting your personality come through? Why are you codependent on people? Like, why don't you do things for yourself? Because you need to create the life that you want, but you're not doing it. And so there's like a lot of like inner work and just literally forcing myself to do things to get me to where I am. And so I think a lot of people need to get out of their own head, do shit that scares them, because we are going to suck in the beginning. You're gonna fail, and failure's okay, because that means you're trying. But people don't want to fail, and people don't want to push themselves, and they get comfy, and then they're 90 years old being like, I wish I did something.
Yeah, you don't want to, you don't want that.
And like, I'm 27 and I'm now just being like, bitch, you got this. It makes me happy seeing all of the, I would say like 15 to 25-year-olds on Instagram, on TikTok, crushing it. I'm just like, you do the thing, because I wish at that age I wanted to do the thing, but here I am. It's fine. Better late than never.
Yeah, listen. Better late than never.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. And like you said, like it's okay to be late. It's okay as long as you find what you want to do. That's the most important part.
I agree.
But how do you stay consistent through tough times? Because all right, so I'm gonna tell you something, because I started this podcast last year. It was a very, very stupid. I was smoking a little bit of weed, and I was like, you know what? I love talking to people. I love connecting with people. I love sharing ideas. I love supporting them if they need help. Let's do a podcast. I was talking to myself, and then I talked to my cousin who's regularly on this podcast, and he's like, dude, let's do it. Like, why not? But I think one of the hardest parts for me is staying consistent.
Yes.
It's like, okay, because sometimes my brain is like, all right, Ray, you did 3 good things. You can take a break. And that's the problem. When I have this mindset, it's like, okay, I can take a break for 2 weeks and then I can come back to it. But my whole thing is being consistent. Even when I have bad days and like I want to get out of that hole that I'm in. How do you stay consistent through hard times?
So I was in a very similar boat to you in the beginning of my YouTube career. I would put out a video and then take a lot of time to do the next video. And then sometimes I would take a break. And I think I didn't get super consistent until this year. And I think the biggest thing that helps me stay consistent through all of the times, the ups and the downs, is making that promise to yourself. Because if you think of it, if you go to your 9 to 5, if you go to your class, you're going to have somebody giving you orders. And we are so programmed to do what they ask us to do. But when it comes to ourselves, we make excuses.
Right.
And I think like it should be kind of the other way around. Like we need to put ourselves first. And don't get me wrong, we need to be respectful to those we're working with and working for and do what is asked of us. But we need to really give ourselves that respect and make our time. And I'm not saying that you don't respect yourself or you don't respect your channel if you take a week off. No, that's not what I'm saying. But you need to make the commitment to just showing up and at least putting 5 minutes of work in. And like at least 5 minutes, because for me specifically, like if I'm not, this happened yesterday, I didn't want to edit a video, but I'm like, Kaylon, do you have goals? You need to show up for yourself, at least do one video, just one. And then after that, I'm excited. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I made this.
Let me do another one. Let me do another one. Yeah.
And so I think you really just need to sit down and make a commitment to yourself and maybe come up with some like action steps. So if you have that resource in your toolbox for the days that you don't want to show up. And I honestly think that we're so focused on being 100% of the time. We want every day to be an on day, but you need to acknowledge that it's not going to be like that. You're going to have days where you're just like, I don't want to do it. Meet yourself where you're at, accept that you're here, but at least put in a little bit of work. Because if you try to better yourself or do something 1% every single day, the 1% is going to add up.
Right.
And so it's just like you said, like changing your mindset a little bit. And it's not an easy thing. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something you have to be actively working on. And if it's really, really worth it to you, and it's something that you see is going to pop off and like help you in the long run in multiple facets of your life, you're going to figure out how to do it.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. So I'm going to ask you another one. All right. You have a video about your anniversary that you celebrated with your boyfriend. 6 years, right? 6 years. When you put these videos about your relationship on YouTube, do you ever think it's too much, or do you think it's perfect to share with people?
I like to share with people about my relationship. That being said, I don't put in a lot of information about my boyfriend just because he's asked me not to. And I'm like, cool. We have this line of, he's like, this is your channel, babe. This isn't my channel. So he's like, so I'm okay that we do things together, but it's never going to be like the camera's on him. No, because it's for me. And so I like to be mindful of his boundaries that he set. But I also do like to like talk about my relationship a lot. And then I have a video that kind of talks about like, I've become very codependent on my human. And then I've been like kind of working through that. But I don't know. Sometimes it can be a lot because some people are like, we don't want to hear about your relationship. We're not here for that. But I know that other people out there can find my relationship videos very personable and that they can relate to it. And I always like to joke around that. So we're going to be going on 7 years this March, and that every single year he's got a whole different person. I'm human and I'm evolving. It's come from, he has a whole different person, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I look back at photos and I think about where I was at that time in my life, and I'm like, she's such a different girl than who is here today. And I know in 10 years, I'm going to look back at this and be like, I'm such a different girl in this moment than who I was at 10.
Yeah, it's all about growth. But how do you, because 6 years is quite a long time. How do you like, when, because you guys have arguments, it's a relationship, there's arguments, there's good time, but what do you do when you when you go through those problems with your significant other? How do you guys continue to communicate and stay together? Because, like I said, I've had experiences where it's like, all right, we're having a fight, we're done. But how do you manage to stay and continue that process?
Okay, so in the beginning of our relationship, I was the toxic, argumentative person. And that's something that I've had to work on, because I will bring up things and I'm not necessarily good with my words when it comes to arguments or heated things. And I will like say things and then I need time to digest, to figure out what my next statement is. And I've been very clear about that. And I used to be super toxic. And if I've said everything I needed to say, I'd be like, I'm done. The conversation's done. And that's not a healthy way to go. So I'm not saying that this shit's been perfect. It hasn't been. I'm crazy.
Of course not. Yeah.
I'm a crazy girl. But something recently that and I say we, but it's been a lot on me, is really coming together. There's something wrong. It's not us fighting each other. It's us fighting the problem.
Right.
And so that's like, I heard that, like somebody said it. They're like, you're not fighting your partner, you're fighting the problem together so you can both come to like this understanding. I'm like, whoa, light bulb. I'm not fighting them. We should be fighting it together so we're both on the same page. And that was like a big light bulb aha moment that has like really changed my view on just anything that comes around arguments or misunderstandings. And then being open, especially with communication, is super important. And that's something I had to learn, because I keep things in. And I know a lot of people out there keep things in. We keep
myself included.
It's hard being vulnerable, especially when things are upsetting you, if things were misunderstood. It's super hard being vulnerable, but you have to be. You need to find at least some mutual trust with your partner, and it builds over time. There are going to be some people that you click with immediately, and then you're like, cool, we can chat about anything. But a lot of times you need to warm up to that individual to be able to trust them, to be able to be vulnerable.
Right.
And that's been something I've been working on, is that I need to be vulnerable if I'm not feeling upset, being like, hey, we need to call a timeout. Can we chat? Can you listen to me before you speak? Especially because my partner is like, he's super good with his words, in the sense he's super articulate. Like, he is easy to be like, oh no, this is not how I saw it at all. This is how blah, blah, blah. And to me, that is very intimidating, because I need time to digest and he doesn't. And so I'm like, whoa, like, how do you have all these these bullet points ready to go? I just brought this to your attention.
Yeah. So I don't want to ask a cliche question, but how did you know that he was the one for you?
And so in the beginning, he knew first, which is like, was super interesting. I'm just like, whoa, coming on strong. You really vibing with me. Because also, to be completely honest, I'm a Tinderella. I met him through Tinder. Like,
okay, that's okay.
Mom, if you're watching this, no, we met at Barnes and Noble in Portland. I told her.
Having a coffee, right?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's gonna sound cliche, but over time it just felt right, because like, he just feels like home. I don't know how to explain that to people, but I'm just like, in the beginning, like I said, I'm a crazy girl. I would try to find faults in our relationship, just because I'm just like, this could be too good to be true. And then as we keep going, like we're on year 7, I'm just like, damn, look at us. That's 7 years of wild times. And so sometimes I could be crazy and I can be like, is this worth it? Like, if I get into like a really heated moment, I'm like, I'll just live by myself. I'll do things by myself. I don't need no man. And then I think back and I'm just like, calm down, bitch. Like, go take a walk.
Right. At least you check yourself at the door, though. Like,
you have to.
Yeah,
you have to do. Like, you have to be honest with yourself and honest with your partner too. And I definitely think that, like, as we've gotten to know each other more, that like these past like 3 years is like when I've really, really opened up. And that sounds crazy because you're like, damn girl, for 3 years you were like not opening up, but like it just happens over time, and the communication gets better over time. And then as like, I think what's really, really important is that in a relationship, there's you, there's your partner, and then there's your relationship, but you need to also be separate entities. You need to have things that you both like to do outside of each other and with each other. And that in the beginning was really hard for me to understand because my boyfriend and I are very different when it comes to the activities we like to do, how we talk, like obviously I've gained his lingo. Like I talk like him now, which is girl. So like it's okay to be different and then come together and have things you like, because I used to talk with this one person and they were like, oh no, you're too different, like you're not going to be like good for each other, and they really got in my head. And so I'm just like, sorry, I'm going to leave you at the door. You don't get to know any more about this because
fuck that.
Because I'm like, you're not in a place to make me question my relationship because this isn't your relationship.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's a very, relationships are interesting and they're going to be so different for everybody. And I love people's relationship dynamics because I'm just like, so how does that work? Like, let me hear more about this.
Yeah, so let me ask you, because I'm glad you brought that up. Our generation specifically, we are starting to see that relationships are not what they were when our parents were younger. It's not like this romantic love triangle, like, oh yeah, I used to write her letters all the time. No, it's completely different now.
Yes.
Do you think the relationships now have gotten worse than they were before, or do you think we're just heading in a different direction?
I think we're heading in a different direction. And so what's funny is like you talked about how people wrote letters and constant communication. And so I think that in general, in the beginning of most relationships is the honeymoon phase. And that's such a like very overused term where you're trying to show out for that person, to be like, I'm here for you, babe. Like, here's this 10-paragraph thing of how much I love you and I can't wait to see you. But as the relationship progresses, like, sometimes those things fade out. And for those couples that just like, they're 10 years in and they're still sending long messages, I love that for you. But that's not necessarily what's going to happen all of the time. So I think we're progressing in a good way, though. But that being said, I feel as if we run when things get hard. And that's
Explain that.
That's with anything.
Explain that.
Relationships, any trouble you find yourself in, the fight or flight really takes control, and we like to run. And I think that's something that maybe with our parents' generation that they didn't do as much. And I don't know. Like, I think that you know your relationship best, you know yourself best, and that if you feel that you need to leave, you need to leave. Like, you'll know if something's not right for you. But if you're trying to run because your partner wants McDonald's and you want Taco Bell, like, you got to work on yourself, babe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if there's things that like you both together can't fight, and it's like going to be this really big thing in your relationship that like you can't get over, maybe it's okay that you move on, because everybody's going to come to your life for a reason. Like, they're here for seasons, essentially. Like, they're going to teach you something. They might stay, they might leave, and you need to be mindful that you just kind of accept that ebb and flow. They're coming, if they're going, and that's hard to do. It's not an easy task.
Yeah, it is. It is hard.
It's not an easy task.
Yeah. So, all right. So I have another video that I wanted to talk about. And this I forgot that you graduated with community health, because I did community health as well. But you have some great videos, and I think when it comes to sex, right? Why do you think, especially nowadays, right? We still we're starting to get more out of it, like the monogamous type of deal.
Yeah.
But why is it always been a problem for women? For women to, how can I word this? Why has it always been a problem for women to sleep with whoever they want, to do all the things that men can do? Why is it such a problem for women? Why has it always been a thing? Because for me specifically, you could have sex with anybody you want.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna look at you differently. I'm not, because I have a past. Everybody has a past. And I think it is important for, if you have interest in a person, I think it's important for you to respect their past, for the good and for the bad.
Mhm.
And you have to realize that not only that you have your past, that no, this person has a past and maybe they slept with a bunch of people, but that does not change who they are.
No.
That does not change who they are. So explain to me, why has it always been such a not a bad thing, but a weird thing, that women have to hide themselves because they have had multiple partners?
I think, and like maybe this is just my thought process and people can disagree and or agree with me, but I think it comes down to, at the end of the day, like specific gender roles, in the sense that like initially uterus owners, female appearing people, were the home body, taking care of the home, producing tiny humans, taking care of them. And so once we moved out of that monogamous, this is my partner, this is me taking care of the family, taking care of that human. Once we've kind of like grown away from that, it's given everybody more freedom. And with freedom, we have choices, and then people just don't like choices that other people make. I don't know. It's always stressed me out because I don't like when other people judge people in general. But when people look at female appearing humans who have higher body counts and be like, that's gross. No, what? That's wild to me. And it just comes down to like crazy stereotypical things. Like if a male or appearing human is having sex with multiple partners, that is such a cool thing. Wow, player, you get it, you pull. And then when somebody like me does it and they're like, wow, she's insecure, she's going to men for all of these different things, like that's sad. Why just because we look different and we have different genitalia, why does that impact it? I don't know. And sometimes I think it comes down to like the stereotypical roles that we used to play way back when. And also I think it really, your mindset on sex is really influenced by the people you're with and the people you were raised with. And yes, you can break out of negative mindsets, toxic mindsets. It's going to take time to really change your mindset when it comes to sex and other taboo topics. But if you were raised in a very traditional household where you are possibly never actually given the birds and the bees talk, which I hate that, you were never given the sex talk, that you might view individuals who are more quote unquote promiscuous as dirty. No, sex is fun. It's not just for reproduction. No, a lot of people have sex and they don't even want children, and that's okay. But people are like, she's gross. No, your mind says gross. That's what's gross here. I could rave about that for days, of how people judge other people with all the different topics, but sex is such a topic that people are so aggressive about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? I'm like, do you need an orgasm today? Like, you should go get one. Like, give yourself one or go find it. Like you need to calm down. Like,
yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm somebody that likes to talk about sex with anybody. Like, for me, it's not like how people usually see it. Like, oh, it's supposed to be special. There's supposed to be candles, music playing, flowers on the floor. No, fuck it. It's fun. Have fun doing it. It shouldn't be something you think about. It should be something you do.
Yes.
But when it comes to women, because and it's unfortunate, because I would love for a woman to feel as confident as a man does when it comes to, oh, I'm gonna have sex with this person, I'm gonna have sex with that person. I think it should be fair. It should be fun for everybody. But how does a woman become more confident with herself?
So I can't speak for every female
human. Just give an opinion.
So I do find that our more sexually liberated female appearing people, they're kick-ass because they're so open and honest about their sexual history and their preferences and their likes. And I think that to become possibly more liberated and kind of open about sex and sexual health and pleasure and orgasms and all of the above is you need to educate yourself and have open conversations. And it doesn't just have to be with your partner. You should have open conversations if you're comfortable with your friends because they have a different sex life compared to what you have. I think you should also have different conversations with people who have sex with the same sex, who have sex with the opposite sex, etc. Because like we all have so many experiences that if we pool together, we can learn so much. But nobody likes to talk about it. Or okay, not nobody, because clearly we like to talk about it. There's a group out there that isn't as open about the conversation and about educating others and educating yourself. And the more you talk about it, the more you're confident with it and the more you have fun and you practice, because you're not going to be good at sex in the beginning. And if you are, who taught you? Like, wow. Wonky thing in the beginning, you know what I'm talking about? We also need to break down our thought process of what the experience is going to look like. Like you said, we have these expectations of the candles and the flowers. And don't get me wrong, I bet you for the individuals who actually have those genuine experiences like that, I bet you it's very romantic and intimate. But sometimes sex is not romantic. Sometimes you're just like, let's get it. Like,
yeah, fuck all that bullshit.
Yo, you trying to head back real quick? Like, we can make it quick. It doesn't have to be an hour and a half. And you're like, what? So we need to break down our expectations and just kind of take things at face value and just kind of go with the flow. That being said, you always do need to be confident with yourself and also feel some form of safety with the person you're engaging in the activity with. Because if you aren't feeling safe and you don't want to have sex, you don't need to. But we know that's not always the case, sadly. And so like, there's so many different aspects. Like if you want to become more confident and open about sex, I think you need to be having conversations and educating yourself and reading up about things. And like I have literally my entire like personal library of books are literally all sexual health related. Like there's like 2 really good books out there. I think there's multiple versions, but it's called The Guide to Getting It On.
Guide to Getting It On. Okay.
Getting it on. And it's such a fun book to read because it talks about sexual health in all different aspects. And like you're going to see some which might be considered graphic videos. It's not. It's autonomically correct body parts and how to use those body parts. And it talks about different positions like oral sex, like foreplay. It's a good book. Like it's a book that like if I have children one day, I'm gonna be like, hey, yo, mama loves to talk about sex, but here's this book. I loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
here's your Bible.
You don't want this. Yes, you will. You will. I promise.
Yeah. I've read a few books. One that comes to mind is She Comes First. It was actually really mind-blowing because okay, if you like, for me, I'm only speaking for myself. Like before reading this book, I was like, yo, man, them girls like me. Like I'm doing what I'm doing what I'm supposed to. God damn it. Like, but when I read the book, I was like, oh wow, the vagina is more detailed than what I expected.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like reading this book. As I'm reading it, I was like, okay, no, I never did that. I never did that. Wow, I have to get my shit together. But why? Because I think what 80% of men do not make girls
Oh yeah.
orgasm.
Oh no. No.
Why is that? Why is that the case? And do you think men should pick up a book like myself? Do you think men should pick up a book and read?
Okay, so vulvas and vaginas are interesting. So vulva is the outside portion. So when you look at a vulva, you see the inner and outer lips, you see the clit, or possibly, depending on the person's genetic makeup, and then the vagina is the inside. We love this. So they're interesting little things down there.
Yeah, they are.
If you've never seen one, go look it up. They're interesting. They come in all different shapes and sizes and colors. So a lot of people don't understand, and that is okay, because to be honest with you, I didn't understand either, that for a vulva vagina owning human to come to an orgasm is not just through penetration. We need some other form of stimulation, specifically on the clit. And like, that's just kind of it. You need to have multiple things going on at the same time. And that's okay. But I think what's funny is that in the beginning of my sexual life, I didn't know that. And so I just thought what I was getting was what sex was. And then as I come to understand these things, I'm like, wait, it can get better? What? I'm like, it's not this like pump and dump type thing? Come on. And so it comes down to that the individual who owns the vulva vagina, they need to be educated on how to make themselves come to an orgasm. I think that's super important, that you need to learn how to orgasm to make your sex life better. Because in a young male's life, a penis owner's life, masturbation's crazy. It's a good time for them. You all, I feel like by the time you engage in partnered sex, know how to have an orgasm. You're very fluent in what you need to do to get yourself there. But as a vulva vagina owner, however we want to say it, we aren't really taught about masturbation until we get older, unless you have access to like computers and porn and all of that. But like that's a hit or a miss between, like, depending on where you live. So like for me, I didn't discover porn until, like, I knew about it, don't get me wrong. I never saw it until college. And that's like a drastic difference from somebody else who was watching it when they were 13, 14.
Right. And right. So, it's true.
Porn's interesting in the fact that you can get some form of education. It's not good education. I'm not saying that porn is accurate. Do not take me there. Do not cancel me today. But it is a very interesting tool to see what sex could be like in a sense. And so that's always interesting. But let me get off that soapbox. And so you need to learn about yourself first. And then you can bring that understanding into partnered sex with communication. And communication's a really hard thing to have in general with people, but I think especially in a sexual manner, because it's not taught. We're not taught to, people tell you to do it, but like we're not encouraged really, or we don't have the practice in saying, actually, could you not do that? Could you do this instead? Or I find it really pleasurable when you touch this area of my body, or when you kiss this area of my body, because that's an awkward conversation to have sometimes. But if you want to have your best sexual experiences, you have to communicate. You have
to.
And
I totally agree with you.
Communicating, it's liberating, because you're just like, because you're like, I think in general, the two people coming together want each other to have a good time. They both want to come to possibly an orgasm or not an orgasm and bring fun things into the bedroom and really kind of connect that way. And it doesn't have to be a romantic connection. You're still, I feel like, even if you're just hooking up with somebody, you're still connecting with them in a more like intimate way, even though it's fun. It may not mean the same thing for that individual as it would with them in a relationship when it comes to like having sex. But you're still connecting, and you need to be able to communicate about that. And it's easier said than done. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And I'm listening. I from the people that I've been with, I always, from after reading this book, because before reading this book, no, but after reading this book, I always ask, like, yo, how can I pleasure you? How can I, maybe you don't like certain things.
Yeah.
Maybe you do. So let me know. I felt at first when I asked this question, I was vulnerable. Like, wow, right? You don't know what you're doing. But it does make the person feel comfortable. It like shows them like, wow, he's not just trying to get his nut. He's trying to make me nut too, you know? So I try to ask these questions because for me, I don't want to be the only one getting pleasure. I found that as I gotten older, yes, it's incredible to come. It's incredible. The feeling is amazing. But as I gotten older, I realized like I do not want to come alone. I always
you want it to be reciprocated.
I want it to be reciprocated. Exactly. I want to play the game together. I think of it as a video game. I want to play the game together. I don't want to just beat the game by myself.
Right. We're both trying to get that win in. Like we're both trying to get it.
Yeah. So it's important for me to ask. And like, yeah, maybe they might be thrown off by the question because maybe they haven't been asked that question before. But for me, it's extremely important. It's extremely important to ask this question.
And like, it doesn't have to be a super formal conversation. Don't get me wrong. There are super great tools out there on the internet that like, they're like templates essentially. If like you're going into a partner sex situation of like, this is some things that they like, this is things that they don't like. And like, it's literally a form that you can do together. It also can be like in a very like casual conversation. And it can also happen, and it should be happening while you're in the act of having sex. How is this feeling? Is this okay? And like, sometimes like they can be like awkward questions to ask, but like you can like turn it into like a sexy type thing while you're in the moment. But like, you should be asking your partner, like, are you enjoying this? Do you need me to stop? Do you need me to switch it up? And it should be vice versa on both ends.
Yeah,
it's like
I totally agree.
Conversation throughout the act, and it's going to help them become more comfortable, ideally.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I'm gonna ask you. I want to make sure I hit your last question. You said, should individuals like the opposite sex or the same sex be reading up on the other person and how to enhance their pleasure? I think so. I think it's always good to be educated, but if you don't have that time to read a book or watch a video, having that conversation with your partner at that time is going to be very beneficial for you, because they're going to tell you things. Because if you think of it, those books are also going to be kind of generic, being like, oh, this part needs to be stimulated for this to happen. But if you like sit down with that partner or like while in the act and they feel comfortable with you, they're going to tell you what to do because they know their body so well. And like, if they know their body and they're able to tell you these things, you're going to have fun. You're going to have fun.
Yeah, I totally agree. So let me ask you one more video, and then we're going to move on to the final topic.
Okay.
So my last one. All right. So we're going to talk about eating healthy. So one video I liked was to stay slim thick. I like that term, slim thick. Explain your journey. Explain your food journey.
Lordy.
Let me hear it.
So, baby Kaylon, and by that I mean 13 to, I think maybe even younger, to like in her 20s, Kaylon really struggled. And she, I say she in past tense, but things still impact me today. I was actually clinically diagnosed with an eating disorder. And so like when I say earlier that like I have an addictive personality, like I have an addictive personality. So like I like to control things that I can. And I don't know how it happened. Okay, I say that. I do kind of know how it happened. I know how it started off. But so I really struggled. I really struggled. People couldn't tell really that I had an eating disorder when it comes to my academics, though. It was just physical. And so that was a very interesting time in my life. And so as a young adult, I'm learning how to view food, as fuel, and like how that like I can feel good in my body not being very, very thin. And so like I put slim thicky because like I'm tiny, but like I'm thick. Like I got cake. Like don't tell me I don't. I know I got booty for like at least I'm slim thicky for my height and everything. And so I try to be super open with my like what I eat in a day videos and like from my shorts to also my like longer form videos that I personally don't calorie count. I don't. I eat food that makes me feel happy and that food that is colorful and that I know have good properties for me. And like food is fuel in the sense that like I need to eat to survive, which has been like a really weird mind game that I've had to like unlearn from when I was younger. But also movement is so great. I love movement. I grew up as an avid swimmer. I was on multiple swim teams. Like that's literally after high school, I would go to hours of practice to go back home to repeat it all again. So like I've always been an athlete, and learning that like food really helps you become a better athlete. And it just helps you in general throughout your life. So I'm no longer like a hardcore like athlete now. Am I an active human? Yes, for sure. But I like to just share with people that like you can overcome shit and still be slim thicky. I
I like that. I like that.
But it's been so like hard for me to be kind of vulnerable about that because like it's not something I'm proud of. Nobody's really like proud to have these like ailments, but I'm understanding like this was a part of my life that I needed to get through and overcome to put me where I am today. Like I've learned a lot about myself. Like for instance, we don't keep a scale in my household because I would be too focused on like what the scale says. I am going for non-scale victories of like I'm eating healthy, I'm moving my body and challenging myself in different ways, and I'm seeing results. And I'm still gonna eat a piece of pizza later. Like it's all about balance. It's all about balance. And I have to be mindful of on just social media in general about posting these things because it's gonna be a hit or a miss for some people. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, you're glorifying eating disorders. No, I'm not. No, would never actually, because they're a shitty thing to go through. Thank you. And there's gonna be some people who are gonna be like for it, and that's with any topic you talk about. But so like that was like a really big like, do I post this? Do I? And so I just did it.
Yeah. I think thank you for sharing that, by the way, because that's a very difficult thing to explain, especially when you have to go through a lot of problems. But I agree with you. Balance is key.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I mean, what I like to do is I like to eat colorful food as well.
Yeah.
I think it's necessary. So I'm not really a fan of greens, but I do eat them, unfortunately. I eat kale, spinach. I'll make a smoothie with kale and spinach.
Mm-hmm.
Throw a little bit of fruit and some water in there. But I also do, so I make sure I get the greens and the spinach out of the way. That's the first thing. And then, okay, if I want some pizza, I'll have some pizza because I had greens before.
Yeah, I had it for breakfast. We got that done out of the way.
Yeah, so it's out of the way. So my thing is, I know I don't eat the greatest, and that's okay. But my thing is at least have greens in your system 2 to 3 times a day, so you can play with your food later.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy fries, I enjoy burgers, tacos, pizza, but it's important for me to have the greens in first before I do these things.
And something I find interesting is that health and wellness, especially when it comes to eating and working out, you can get so overwhelmed by information because
Right.
everybody does something differently. There are people who have specific goals and they have specific eating habits, and these are the only foods that they eat. And it's super restrictive because that's what they need to do to get to their goal. And there are some people who are on the other spectrum, and it's so easy to become overwhelmed and almost question yourself about, am I doing what's right for me? Because this person is doing this and this person is doing this. And like the biggest thing for advice I give is eat colorful foods, eat whole foods, do not restrict things, because if you restrict, you're going to want to have it like 10 times worse. So just have that balance of like you're eating somewhat healthy, but you're also enjoying the not so healthy things. We're here for a good time, not a long time. I'm not telling you to overindulge and to the point where you become sick and like you are having other health ailments because of it. But I'm saying that it's okay to have your smoothie for breakfast and then like a really fat sandwich for lunch. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
So my final question before we move on to the final topic.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody that is struggling with weight right now? What would you say to that person?
Give yourself grace. We only have one body, and I feel like we forget about that. We only have this body that we have right now. We only have it once. Give yourself grace. Learn to love your body. And by loving your body, I mean by being okay with it, but also working on it. In that sense, like a lot of people think like, oh, I need to do exercise and restrict my food or go into a calorie deficit to lose weight. But like, you need to first love your body and accept that this is where I'm at and that you love yourself so much that you want to have a better life, that you're going to put in these steps to work out or to start eating healthy. And that could be on both sides too. For individuals who are looking to lose weight and individuals who are looking to gain weight, of being like, we have this body, we love it so much, and we love ourselves so much that we're going to eat better and that we're going to move our bodies. And I know it's easier said than done, don't be overcritical on yourself. Take those small little victories and run with them. And I don't know, maybe that's corny, but that's how I look at it. Because like I look at myself, I'm like, damn girl, you're killing it. Like,
Yeah.
Eat a piece of pizza. Or then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go roller skating today and go walk my dogs. And like really just having that balance of being like, I got my body, we're gonna do some good things with it, and we're also gonna have a piece of pizza.
Yeah, that's important to treat yourself. I totally agree. Like it's important to treat yourself, especially when you're doing so much. Like
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us we put a lot of effort in, but we never look at ourselves like, damn, like you actually did a good job. Like give give hugs to yourself, you know?
We only
Yeah.
celebrate the big accomplishments, and that's what gets me. I'm just like, anybody was like, I don't have a reason to celebrate. I'm like, you woke up today. We have a reason to celebrate. I'm like, you like, and maybe that makes me a little cheeky, a little weird, but like, I like to celebrate all of my accomplishments, no matter the size. Am I throwing myself a party because I went to the gym today? Not necessarily, but I'm still hyping myself up. You're like, girl, you did it. I'm like, yeah, I did. Okay.
I did that.
And I made a short, and I don't know that I have so many videos on Backfile, and it's literally me saying, you need to celebrate all of the wins, every single win. Because if we're only saving that celebration for the last thing, yeah, it might feel cool. You're like, wow, I'm big celebration. No, I'm that weirdo. I like to stay happy, so I'm going to celebrate anything I can. Anything I can. And that comes with any type of thing that's going in your life, especially when it comes to being in your body and like working on all, like we're a multifaceted human beings when it comes to our life. So just celebrate everything.
Yeah.
And people are going to be like,
that.
she's corny. And I'm like, thank you. I am.
I like that. That's true. Like,
Yeah.
it's important to do these little celebrations, because if you're not going to celebrate yourself, then who is? If you're not going to believe in
Exactly.
yourself, then who is?
Who is?
Yeah,
People don't have to see the vision. We're the only ones. We're the only ones. And so celebrate
exactly.
yourself.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Hold on. Can I
this
be
is the-
annoying? I have to go pee really badly. Can I go pee?
Okay, I'm going to start the video. Don't worry.
Thank you.
All right. So, tell me, what is the next step for your social media career? Like, what do you plan to do in the future? What is your content? What are some ideas you have for your content?
Okay, so right now I'm really focusing on YouTube Shorts, and I could possibly put that onto Instagram and TikTok and all the fun stuff. But right now we're on YouTube Shorts, and the reason I'm doing this is because I need to build my community. Because my goal at the end of the day is to be somebody's relatable best friend who they can ask advice to. But I had to come to the realization that people need to know me first before we form that connection. And so I've been really focusing on YouTube Shorts where I'm just sharing positivity and being like, I'm your relatable best friend and you need to hear this today. I know you don't think you do, but you need to hear it today because my friends are so good with giving me reality checks and telling me positive messages. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can be doing that for other people. So a lot of my videos, I'm like, bestie, hold up. We got something to talk about before you scroll. And so my goal is to create this community where they feel comfortable talking with me and talking with other people. And then from there, I'm going to branch back into my health and wellness type content because I need to establish rapport with people before they want to hear more health and wellness things. I think that makes sense. You just need to build a relationship before you can talk about these things. And so right now I'm in the relationship building portion of my channel and it's been fun. I didn't think I was going to like the shorts aspect as much as I do, but it's fun going to my my camera on my phone and being like, bestie, bitch, let's chat real quick.
I love it.
People off guard when they're scrolling. It's me like, bestie, and they're like, yes. Me?
Nice.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people that are trying to start or trying to find ideas to start, whether it's a YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, what motivational speech would you give them?
People just need to try. Honestly, in the beginning, you're going to be a fool, and that's okay. Because think of it. Who's really going to see it in the beginning? Your friends and family who are your immediate subscribers, your immediate followers. You know what I mean? You got to get out there and try because I would hate for you at the end of your life to be like, I wish I would have done this. Because at the end of the day, I always say better late than never, but you're not on a timeline. Stop comparing your life to others. So does that mean you want to start your social media career at 15? Have fun. If you're 55 and you want to start this YouTube career, have a fucking ball. Have a great time because I would rather you try something and fail versus never try at all. Because and so I always thought of it like this, I'm either going to love social media or I'm going to hate it. But the only way I'm going to know is if I try. Because I was honest with myself. I'm like, I'm going to give myself a year. If I do not like my social media and my content creation after a year, guess what? I don't have to continue doing it. I gave it my shot. But I'm like, I'm still digging it. That's why I'm here. But I needed to give myself the opportunity to try. And I just need other people to do it. Get out of your head. Just go for it. People are going to see you fail. They're never going to come up to you in person and be like, wow, that was a pretty bad video. Wow, you shouldn't have said that. No, people are going to hide behind their computers and tell you that, but don't listen to them. Make a fool out of yourself. Have fun. This is literally the only life that we're given. So I'd rather you be a fool than just to play it safe. Honestly, just challenge yourself. And I tell this with anybody doing anything. I'm like, oh, you want that promotion? Go ask for it. Go apply for it. What is the worst they're going to tell you? No. Then you just start back and you're like, okay, what is my next step from here? But I feel like everybody tells us to live our best lives, but nobody knows how to do that. And that's always an interesting thing. Everyone's like, you got to live your best life. Or like a lot of people have been saying like, I'm trying to find myself. And I heard something, or I think I read something. It was like, no, we're not trying to find ourselves. We're trying to create ourselves. Because like, what are you trying to find? You don't know. You got to start creating things. You got to start doing things to be able to, and at the end, I guess, quote unquote, find yourself. You got to start creating shit. You got to start pushing yourself. Because if you don't push yourself, you're not really going to know what's going on in your life, what you want to do. Just take the jump. Just go for
it. You're preaching to me right now. I'm just sitting back. I'm like, damn, like, you're preaching to me right now. Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on. I definitely want you on for another episode.
Yes, please.
Yes. I thought this is great.
This is good.
Before this interview happened, I knew, because I could tell by your videos, your energy is amazing.
I knew it was gonna be fun.
I knew it was gonna be fun. I knew it was gonna be lit. I heard the voice. I was like, yo, I'm not even worried about this. I'm not even worried about it.
You just heard me go, hello! And you're like, oh, she's on.
Yeah, but it's been a pleasure. And I like to see, people from the university or people that I've known in my past life. I like to see you guys win. And I'm here. You have a lifetime supporter. I'm here to support. Any videos you need for me to put on my Instagram, I will do so.
So nice.
Yes, of course. I want to see people win. I think when you see people win, you start winning as well. Like it's a contagious energy.
Yeah.
So I want to see you win. I want to support, and I'm just happy that you took time out of your Sunday, because Sunday is the Lord's Day, whatever they say.
Sunday fun day. We out here.
But I appreciate you for taking your time. But before we end the video, look, my man is getting up.
Baby.
Before we end the video, I want you to give your final thought, and it could be in general, if it's motivation, if it's inspiring, any final message you would like to give to the listeners today.
I just want to let you know that your potential is limitless. The only thing that's holding you back right now is you. And that sucks to hear. It really does. But once you realize that you're working against yourself, you're going to learn to switch it up. Because I want quite literally the best for you and for you to be a healthy, happy human. And I need you to get out of your own way. And so go take time today, work on yourself, create the life you're looking to create, because you are worth it. I love you.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. My final message would be, not to piggyback, but my final message would be, if you think you can accomplish it, and do it. Who cares what people are going to say? You're going to have bad critics, you're going to have good critics, but it's important for you to get your ideas out there and show it to the world. And I think you will become your true self once you do that. So my message is to be yourself and just chase whatever you're chasing and work on it. That's it. So this is Just a Thought podcast. We give love, we show opinions, we show support. I am out, your host, Ray. Kaylon is my guest. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Take care. Happy Sunday. And peace and love.
Deuces.